Backstage with Mothership on Solid Rock Radio begins now. Hear the best in new music, artist interviews, stories from the road, and more. You are now backstage, and here's your host, Mothership.
Hey everybody, the band Living Scars and I had a little chat session last week to find out more about the band and their new single. Let's just jump right in.
It was really great to finally meet you guys. Since we don't know each other very well, I want each of you to tell me who you are, what instrument you play, and how long you've been playing it. Parker.
Yes, I'm the lead singer of the band, and I've been doing that since the start back in, 2012.
All right, Adam.
I'm Adam. I've been doing bass and strings with the guys here, I guess, since 2015.
All right, Austin.
I'm Austin. I play guitar. I joined the band around 2017.
And then Greg.
Yep, my name's Greg Hoffman. I play guitar and, well, we all help with the writing, but kind of help with some of the production elements there. And I was an original in the band in 2012 and then left and came back and just happy to be here. But I've been playing guitar since, well, Lord, it's been like 15 years, however long that is.
All right. I understand you don't have a drummer right now. Are you looking for one?
No, actually, we're not looking for a drummer right now. We've been doing this since 2012, and we used to go pretty hard. We used to play locally a lot, multiple times each month. We've gone on tours. We've gone across the country to go play shows, and then COVID hit, and things kind of slowed down for us. And admittedly, we prayed on it. We talked about it, and we were thinking about actually calling it quits back towards, maybe 2 years ago. And that wasn't what the Lord had in store for us. When that happened, we went and got accepted to play Camp Rockfest in 2021, I believe.
Yeah.
Got accepted to do that, made connections with Joseph, got with the program with Rockfest. And that's when my brother Chandler, who was our drummer since 2012, decided he actually didn't want to move forward with that. So we lost our drummer, we lost our production guru, and our basically manager of everything through that, and thought maybe this is another sign to cancel it all. But the Lord was providing such an awesome opportunity to just release more music under the name, and we thought of our brother Greg and decided, you know what, we don't want to go on Craigslist or go Facebook Marketplace and see if anyone wants to play with us. I wanted someone that I'm so comfortable with, that's one of my closest friends, someone that we've played with and trust, to rejoin the band. Now, granted, he's a phenomenal guitar player, but he's not a drummer.
No, I'm not.
But through Rockfest and through our amazing producer, Richie, we have such an easy connection to amazing drummers. So if we are ever to, play live again, I think we're going to kind of go that route until the Lord provides something else, Maybe in the future there is a drummer in store, but for now it's just the four of us.
Okay, well, when did the band start? Did you say it was 2012?
Yes, 2012.
Okay. Give me a little history of that before we fast forward back up to now.
Oh, man. Yeah. So back in 2012, we were probably between the ages of 13 and 15 years old. We were babies.
Yes, you were.
If I remember correctly, our parents had to drive us to our first gig.
Yeah,
I'm remembering.
I think so. And in 2012, it was myself, Greg Hoffman, my brother Chandler, and our oldest friend Patrick. It was Patrick Bertucci. And in our youth group, every so often there'd be these like talent shows. And us not knowing what we were doing but loving music decided, you know what, let's be these cool little rock stars and make up the corniest little song that we've ever made in our entire lives and go and play it on stage in front of all of these other teenagers. That's literally what it was in 2012. And we didn't have a band name, but we knew we loved music. And we went and played this song, and it was so much fun. And that's when we decided, you know what, let's keep doing this. And then our friend Patrick left because he didn't want to keep doing that. It was just a one-time fun thing. Probably 2013 is when we kind of decided, hey, let's start playing some shows. And we added our good friend Gene Staff. He started on the bass with us. He was in a previous band before that as well. And we started playing shows. We went on our first tour. We were all teenagers, called the Extreme Tour. It was around the heartland of the United States. And that's, I think, and Greg, you can stop me if I'm wrong, I think that tour was when we decided what we wanted out of that. What the Lord wanted out of that. He wanted us to glorify him through what we were doing and not just play music. Yeah. And it was a Christian tour, which was, I think, a huge benefactor for that. We were outreaching to the community. We were talking with homeless, teenagers, adults, like just outreaching to the community. And I think that's kind of when we decided, okay, we're not just Christian dudes in a band. This is a Christian band. We want to reach unbelievers and we want to glorify God with what we're doing. Fast forward to 2015, after playing a lot of shows, a lot of local gigs, a lot of nasty venues in Austin, Texas. Geez, we're probably around 16 years old now, 17 at this point. We were recording our first album called Rise. We took good pride in those songs. We liked them, but then you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, clearly these were teenagers making songs.
It's a humbling experience to go back and listen to them for sure.
Yeah. The quality.
How we have grown, right?
Yes.
Exactly. Everything about it. The quality of everything. The sound quality, the lyrics, the
musicianship.
Rock,
yeah,
the musicianship, everything. We went and recorded that, and that's when our friend Gene decided he also wanted to step down in the middle of that recording process. And we still finished the album without him. We love that guy. He's still a good brother. He wasn't even leaving on bad terms. Great guy. Sure. But we finished the album. And funny enough, this was around the time when we met Adam. And we met him at a show just before Gene left. I apologize for going back. But just before Gene left, we played a show, and we met Adam at this show because his band that he was in, called If Tomorrow Burns, played. They're the ones hosting the show at this church. So we went and played there. That's where we met him. And time goes by. He ends up working at Goodwill with my brother Chandler, and that's where they started to grow their bond, their love for music. In that band, yes, and thrifting.
Yes, and thrifting.
And yeah, obviously he shared with us he was a screamer, but he was a drummer in the band. He hadn't picked up a bass. And around the time that we were releasing our album, we wanted to do a nice low quality music video. So we couldn't do that without a bassist. So we invited our friend Adam and asked if he would come and pretend to play the bass for this music video.
Well, and it was funny because we said, we'll teach you to fake it. Just come and look cool. Just look cool on camera. And he did show up, right?
Did he look cool?
None of us looked cool, but we thought we did, right?
I made sure to start this with low quality music video.
Exactly.
But honestly though, for what it was a cool. Yeah. But he learned the song, and I'm assuming, Adam, you liked it. Like that was kind of fun to pick up the bass and do something that wasn't the drums. And we knew he screamed, so on this album that we made, he actually featured in it as our screamers. We unfortunately pulled that. It's fortunate, actually. We pulled that album down off of platforms because we figured that's just going to hurt us in so many ways.
It's not great.
But if you were to go back and look at this album, I think we still have a couple physical copies left. You'll see this song called Rise featuring Adam Renteria. And he screamed one word throughout the entire song, just screamed Rise over and over and over again. But it was after that we lost our bassist, and he featured on the album. We had no screams in our music leading up to that point, except for that one song. And we're like, man, this could actually really change the direction of our music. You want to join the band, Adam? And he was like,
why not?
On cue. There it is. Because, you wanted to spend the rest of your life at Goodwill, right?
Yeah. Goodwill life didn't last long after that.
He joined, so.
Awesome. Austin, how long have you been with the band?
Oh, my gosh.
I think it was 2019, Austin.
5 years? 5 years?
I was gonna say 18.
I'm trying to get all my numbers correct here.
Well, so Austin, we were all gigging and going pretty hard, playing a lot of live shows. And it was around the time that I started working full time on staff at a church. And it became more and more difficult to get time off to go and play shows, and made the choice then to, I was like, guys, I can't afford the time to do it anymore. And I don't even remember, Chandler yet again knew Austin from somewhere. Austin, I don't even know where you came from.
Well, I was in a little high school buddies rock band, garage band, whatever you want to call it. Well, we wrote a song, and we were looking for anybody in the area that knows anything about recording, software, anything. Well, the drummer in that band, he knew Chandler Cook from high school. And so he was like, well, let's go to Chandler Cook's house and just record this song. And so we did that. We went to, I think you were there, Parker. You were there. It was around 2015. You were around 2015 when we went to Chandler Cook's house, and you were there. We recorded this song, and Chandler just loved what he heard. And he was like, wow, you're a good guitar player. And I was like, well, I mean, I just sit in my room playing guitar all day. I mean, I don't see myself as a good guitar player. I never really been out, playing shows or play for other people. But, Chandler liked what he heard. And then fast forward to 2017, I got a call from Chandler saying he wants me to join his band. I was like, okay, sure, I'm not doing anything else. And so that's when the ball started rolling.
Obviously, I left with zero ill will or anything. I mean, I'm back, so it must not have been that bad, right? But there were several months where kind of I put some heavy quotes around that because, I mean, Austin, you are a good guitar player. I can't say that enough, right? Just taught him the songs, not the musical skill, but just taught him the songs. And then kind of once we played a few gigs together with two guitarists, and that was actually really solid, cool. And then I was gone, and they kept on keeping on, and they honestly did all the hard work of getting out there. And then Chandler came to me and was like, hey, we got a record deal. You want to jump on now? I was like, sure.
Backstage with Mothership returns after this.
Miller Express LLC is a Solid Rock Radio business ministry partner specializing in delivery, setup, and relocation of storage buildings. More info by calling 803-300-7594.
Check us out on Facebook at I'm with Mothership.
2018, you had a song called Wide Awake.
Yes.
But your new song is Wake Me Up. So what happened? How did you fall asleep? And why did we need to wake up?
Let's see. How do we fall asleep? We were just tired. We were just playing so many shows. So we just crashed and passed out. No, we released that song. That was like the turning point, I think, for us. We were going to go from the soft rock we were doing, and we wanted to do some more metal, hard rock music, add some more screams in there, but keep the ball rolling in terms of making meaningful lyrics. So we did Wide Awake in 2018. Continued releasing a couple more singles after that. We did some Christmas songs. We did some another single called Underneath It All in 2019. And then that's kind of, when everything hit, COVID hit, we kind of stopped everything. I think we did one single during COVID. We did a cover of Without Me by Halsey. Honestly, there really wasn't. We did Contagion Fest during that time, but between the start of COVID and Rockfest, Camp Rockfest, we really didn't know what we were going to do and what direction we were going. We knew we wanted to keep going, but also didn't know if we could. That's also around the time we all started getting full-time jobs and getting married and having babies. And so like a lot of that kind of comes into play, and you don't want to stop doing your passion, but you also have a responsibility to provide for your family. And I think with Rockfest Records, the Lord really provided for us. I can't see another way that we would have actually thrived and continued and release something that people will hear and keep at it without Rockfest Records. I think that was going to be the end of the band, and the Lord used Rockfest to kind of swoop in and pick us up. And it was definitely a reignited spark. I don't know if Adam and Austin if you guys agree with me on that. But yeah,
I really agree.
yeah.
Well, somebody tell me about the new single, Wake Me Up.
I was just going to speak to the music that for me, kind of jumping back into the band, this is the first song that we all came together on. And so just purely from a musical perspective and from a musical standpoint, it was really, I think, is a good benchmark. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's a really good benchmark of where we're going with this new lineup. And that's not to say anything bad about kind of some of our back catalog and things that Chandler worked on. But with the four of us now and the band as it is, all writing together, I think that it's a really interesting kind of snapshot of some things to come. So hopefully people enjoy it. Yeah. But I think that it's a really good picture of what's coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, for sure. And even though that song hits hard, so far from like all of the other songs we've been writing too, it's probably one of our softest songs that we have on the lineup, which is hopefully good news for some people. But as far as like the background of the song, when I was writing the lyrics, I didn't write all of the lyrics. I started the writing of the lyrics for that one. That one was really written from my point of view for Christians. So some songs, mostly people are writing for just anyone who can relate to it. But in this point of view, is for Christians that wonder why they continue to struggle with things like fear or anxiety or temptation, whatever they're dealing with, but they are saved. They believe in the gospel. They believe in a God that saves, that's sovereign, and still are dealing with these things and wonder why. The clear answer that the song kind of goes through is it's sin. It's this overwhelming fight with sin that we're going to be dealing with for the rest of our lives. Unfortunately, that's the tough pill to swallow, that the Lord never promised a life of perfect, painless, that's not what he promised. He actually said your life's going to get a heck of a lot harder because the world's going to be going against you. But remember that it hated him first. But they're going to hate us too. And we're going to be dealing with sin for the rest of our lives. And that's why we need our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. That was the underlying tone of the song and what that song kind of means to us.
What's next? What have you got coming up?
Oh, man. There's one thing I can't share yet that is coming soon. I can't share anything about it because they haven't shared anything about it. And I don't want to be the guy that's like, I don't want to like Tom Holland it.
Yeah, don't Tom Holland it. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You might Joe Rowe it. Joe Rowe likes to spill the beans.
He does.
Got to keep things confidential.
Yeah.
The dude leaks his own music. And then his posts get flagged for it.
I think that we could probably safely say that we have been writing our butts off. I mean, Parker kind of touched on this, but any of y'all can correct me, but our focus has really shifted away from live performance, and we just want to write the best music that we possibly can. And so that's kind of what we've been focusing on really hard, is writing.
What does that process look like with you guys? Is it like somebody starts with lyrics? Does somebody start with a riff?
Yeah. I'm going to get a lot of flack for it too. Well, actually, we've all kind of done it in our own right. I think the most common thing that happens is I'll come up with a melody or a tune or a chorus. I have a ton of choruses, and the guys just dislike me for it. Because we'll start a process on a song. All right, we got our chorus. All right, now we've mapped out our entire musical, like the skeleton. All right, we've got our verse. We're almost done. Oh, hey guys, I've got another chorus for you for a whole brand new song. And I get distracted. But the process is we come up with something and we all meet up at Greg's house. Greg's got his studio room, and it gives us the ability to jot down all of our ideas. We'll usually make a skeleton of the song. Me and Greg meet up, I think, together the most, and then we'll all get together and everyone starts to input their own ideas. And then it's beautiful that a song can start one way, and then you get another member that comes to the sessions like, oh, let's add this. And then Austin gets in there and just goes, and then it fixes the song and makes it perfect.
It's funny because, like you can see everybody's specialties really shine through in the songwriting process, because 95% of the time it's Parker sending me a voice memo where he goes, hey, what about this? And I'm like, okay, all right. So then I go into the studio and I try to turn that into something, right? And then when we all meet up, Austin comes in there and just absolutely shreds over top of it, and Adam finds a way to make the screams really fill it out. And it's really kind of pieced together. And that's the beautiful thing of we're having this interview. We're all in our separate homes, but we all kind of piece together our ideas, and we've got a Google Drive that we share and can listen to this on your own time. And next time we all meet up, come together with your ideas and let's figure out where to go from there. So it's a little disjointed, but somehow we make it work.
There's going to be an album at some point. And do you have sort of a window, or can you even say at this point?
No.
Okay. All right, moving on. I enjoyed the Christmas song on the very Rockfest Christmas. That was nice.
Thank you. That was, it's funny how that's our first release under the label.
Got to get in there somehow. We played it, yeah.
We appreciated that so much. The feedback that we got from that and this song that we just Wake Me Up, golly, I mean, we did not expect the feedback we're getting. So thank you so much for playing our stuff. Lord's given us joy through it, encouraging us. Expect progression. Like, we're going to keep on releasing things, and we're going to be learning after our experiences. We already learned so much just from Wake Me Up. That whole experience going with Richie in Houston, being with him for a couple days, was a amazing experience. We were so humbled by it, just getting to with someone that knows the music industry so well. And we're just learning so much from this.
In case people don't know who Richie is, it's Richie Vikander of Fire from the Gods. Now, how did you guys get together? Through Rockfest Records?
Yeah, Rockfest set that up. Joseph introduced us to Richie, and just the sweetest, most wonderful person, so talented in his craft. My goodness, he is such a talented individual. So helpful with the creation of the songs. We actually went and recorded 2 songs with him in Houston. He came to Austin and helped us out with the Christmas song. And just an amazing guy that gave us so many awesome tips. And I think we decided just from recording with him those 2 times that we'd like to continue with him with everything, honestly. Such a talented individual.
Backstage with Mothership returns after this. Check us out on Facebook at I'm with Mothership.
Does anybody want to share their faith journey?
Well, I was born in a church. My grandpa was and still is a pastor. And I got saved at 6. I distinctly remember that he had a movie night at his church. And at the end of the movie, it had an altar call to it. And I got saved there, got baptized shortly afterwards, and really kind of had a interesting path with my faith because I spent so much time in the church at such a young age that when I got to that age, it was about 15, 16, where I really started kind of questioning, like, okay, do I believe this because I grew up around it, because I know it, or do I believe it because I believe it? That I really kind of had to start asking some of those tougher questions. And so I do say and do believe that I got saved at 6, but I don't think I really began to mature in my faith until around 15, 16 years old.
I grew up in the church also. Pretty much all I heard was God's love for the first part of my life. Which I'm not saying is a bad thing, because does love. But it wasn't until I was about 12 years old that the Lord softened my heart to him through the understanding of the weight of sin and realizing that I didn't feel any conviction by my sin. I wasn't given the gift of the Holy Spirit until I was 12 years old. And then I felt this awful weight of sin over my life when I was 12 years old. But I was very sinfully addicted to video games, in the point where I secluded myself from anything and everything. I was very focused on that. And it was after that I actually canceled a lot of the things that I did in my life. And I realized I needed to be going to church, and I needed to get baptized. And our pastor, Brian Hogwood, at the time, he mentored me through that. And I ended up getting baptized at 13 years old at our church. And then kind of almost spot on with Greg. It wasn't until I was about 17 years old, I was meeting with an old friend of mine, and we would meet every Tuesday, and we would read the Bible together. His name is Vance. And he was the first person to talk to me about the sovereignty of God. And that was an insane pill to swallow and understand the Lord's will and the sovereignty of his will and everything. So that's when I started to dive into God's word and actually want that more in my life. And I've been doing devotionals and staying in God's word since then. So
I would have to say before I joined the band, I was pretty much an atheist. I didn't believe in God or nothing, but I just took a look at my life and I was like, man, my life just sucks. It's just, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. It seemed like I started just questioning everything because a lot of people would say, oh, science has all the answers. It has all the answers. Well, a lot of scientists, they'll say, oh, well, the universe was created by a big explosion. And I'm like, really? How do they know that? And so I started turning more towards God. And I joined the band, and that was kind of like the final nail in the coffin for me.
Adam?
Growing up, we had the Christian value there with my mom and dad, but we were kind of like the average Joe Christians. Like, we only went to church at Christmas time and Easter Sunday type stuff. And that was all I really knew that there was to church, is just, you sit in the pew, say a couple prayers, and then you go home, and that's it. I lost my dad when I was little too. And that kind of played a part in, me growing up without one. And I was always trying to find that in my friends and other people. Sometimes I didn't always have the best influences around me. So, underage drinking a lot and stuff, and really affected me. So when I officially graduated, that's when I had cousins along the way that were actual Bible believing Christians that weren't afraid to really say their faith. And just one day, my cousin invited me out at Shoreline Church here in Austin, and I never even heard of that church before. And this is where the seed got planted for me. It was Cutlass, Disciple, Stellar Cart, and Falling Up. That was like
nice.
Yeah. It was a super awesome lineup. That was the first time ever I saw the Lord work in that way. I was like, wow, this is a whole different dynamic. No one's in a pew. We're all like headbanging and everything. And, it's just so crazy that I saw the band members actually go to their merch tables and pray for people. I never knew that you could do this. And I told my cousin, like, man, is this for real? Like, he's like, yeah, man, this is the real deal. This is what we do. This is one way of the Lord using music as a tool, as a medium for his glory. That was where the seed was planted. And then fast forward, when I finally graduated, that was when just a lot of the weight of all the loss that I had in my life, lost my dad, grandparents, family members in between. Really, I just felt a lot of that weight just really start to weigh on me. And finally, a really great friend in the band that I was in before Living Scars, I was auditioning to be the drummer for it. He's the one that really just opened my eyes and led me to accepting Christ. Ever since I did that, man, that weight that I was feeling all those years, man, it just lifted off of me. And I just never felt that sense of peace and understanding that, man, he loved me and grew me up this way to reach someone else that was going through exactly what I was going through, and just to have his love pressed down on me instead of the weight. It was the awakening for me. And so, yeah, that was just right outside of high school is when I came to know the Lord, and I never wanted to go back to where I was. Now here we are, living each day better than the last.
Thank you guys for sharing. You say you have been out on the road before, but not planning on doing it anytime soon. But I still have to ask, what are your favorite road snacks?
Adam?
$30, $50 worth of Bucky's teriyaki jerky.
Teriyaki turkey from Bucky's. Okay. Very specific. Anybody else?
I could eat a gallon baggie of sunflower seeds. That is just my all-day go-to, man.
It's terrible. You find them everywhere. They're all over the floor.
In the door, under the seats, in the dashboard. Okay. All right, Parker, what about you?
Pretty much anytime we'd stop somewhere, I'd grab a Monster energy drink. I can't get enough of Slim Jims. Those are like I'll buy a dozen of those things.
Austin, what about you? What do you like to eat on a road trip?
Oh, man. If I eat a snack, it's got to be spicy. I would say maybe spiced beef jerky or something. It's got to feel like a metal band going off in my mouth.
Okay. And which restaurant are you pulling into?
You're looking at it on Adam's shirt.
my preferred one.
At Whataburger. Okay. And what did you say? You want Chick-fil-A?
Oh, Chick-fil-A every
Greg?
day, all the way. Chick-fil-A.
So Greg's a Chick-fil-A man.
The Lord's chicken, huh?
Oh, the Lord's chicken. All right.
Amen.
Where are you going to go, Parker?
It's probably Raising Cane's.
Okay, I'll go
Okay.
to Cane's with him. I'll go to Cane's.
Okay, Cane's is good. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about that cane sauce. Man, it's so good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Greg, but Popeye's all the way.
Oh,
The mashed potatoes and gravy is just top notch, top shelf stuff.
Austin.
Is this going to break us up?
I'm gonna have to sign a new contract. Man.
So I appreciate your time, and I really appreciate getting to meet you guys, and I hope to see you somewhere soon. I hope you get on the road at some point that I can
We are
see you.
keeping our options open. I mean, we're not resigning ourselves to be hermits. We'll be around, I'm sure.
Sounds great. All right. Well, good night, guys, and hopefully see you on the road.
I thank you.
Have a good one. Thank you, Cindy.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for listening. Check out my blog page on the Solid Rock Radio website for my guests' social media links. If you've missed any of my past interviews, you can find them uploaded to podcast.solidrockradio.org. Have a wonderful week, and let's be kind to one another.